Hey everybody, Coach here. Hey, thanks for taking a couple minutes. Every week, every Friday, I bring to you DIY landscape education. This particular episode is all about planning around your DIY landscape project involving plant availability. You know, you decided to do it yourself. 2 thumbs up. Now, you've got your planning done. You got your due diligence. You maybe even have some of your scheduling down. But do you have your plants yet? Or have you even ordered them? That's what we're talking about this week, because it can leave you in a lurch if you don't pay attention. Hey, again, I'm glad you're here. Let's get this thing started, shall we? Hey, I'm Matt. You can call me Coach. Every Friday, I bring with me landscape DIY education, concepts and theories, ideas and solutions, so you guys can go out and tackle a landscape project yourself, get professional results, save a whole lot of money in the process, and in this day and age, be a lot more self-reliant. Man, after a 20-plus year career in the green industry, I'm bringing with me a lot of knowledge and experience that I want to share with you guys, the new, modern, educated, self-reliant homeowner of today. Welcome. You know, I've been serving in the green industry off and on for over 20 years now. And you know, in that time, I've really got a pretty darn good grasp on how the green industry works, both the wholesale side and the retail side. And one of the things that is a phenomenon that you have to kind of understand before we get really involved in what I'm going to suggest, and that is how the wholesale world works. The wholesale green industry, the plant growers out there. Months, sometimes even years before those plants even arrive at the nursery you go to fiddle over them and fuss over them and look at them from all angles. They've gone through a myriad of growing, shall I say, levels. They may have started out as just a single little rooted sprig somewhere in a little 2-inch liner, and it's got shifted to a gallon can, then maybe to a 5-gallon can, and maybe to a 15, maybe to a 24-inch box and bigger if you're looking at trees. Now, although I'm going to address specifically plant availability here, it also can apply to other facets of material gathering for your landscape project. It can be bulk materials like compost, barks, topsoils, irrigation parts and pieces, sod even, depending on where you live, and seed, top dressing, peat mosses. In the world we live in right now, which is so freaking upside down, you just don't know where the pipeline shortages are until you get out there and really turn over a few rocks and find out. Back on the green part of this though, when you're going and looking for stuff, here we are in the late part of March of 2022. You've done all your homework. The plants that you have selected, you've gone over and to the nursery and maybe elicited some help, maybe even hired a designer that has put a plant list together for you. You have your project slated for May 1st. The plants that you're going to be getting were grown, shifted, pruned, watered, and cared for in 2021. And I'm going to speak specifically to gallon can, 5-gallon can, and larger plant material, container stock, not balled and burlapped and not bare root. Because we're kind of getting out of the bare root season now, so you're not going to find too much of that left except way in the heck up north right now. You still may have some leftovers. So, 3rd week in March right now, May 1st is your kickoff. You have got most things kind of under control. Now it's time for your material gathering and especially your plant order that needs to go in. During the springtime, retailers, generally right after January inventory, where they have the least amount of inventory that they're going to have the whole entire season. And now they're going to bring in their 2022 stock. The first load, the first couple of truckloads of brand new, fresh 2022 inventory is going to be rolling in and is already on the shelves out there. And some of it, especially down south, is probably already picked over and gone through, and the second wave of inventory is coming in. Well, depending on where you live, depending on what availability is in place then, will determine what is going to be available when you're ready to rock that job of yours in May. So if you get your order in now, get your order placed, have a good relationship, a first name relationship with your salesperson so that you can double, triple, and quadruple check that things are coming, getting, arrived. Maybe it's tax day, dreaded April 15th, and your nursery person calls you and says, hey, Mr. Smith, your plants are here. And you should do one of two things. Go, great, can you hang on to them? I'll be in there right around May 1st. Or get your butt in there now. And this is why. So many times, I've seen my own orders, I have seen other customers, other contractors' orders, hit the loading dock, get segregated and set aside. And there that sits, maybe for a few days, maybe for a few weeks. And what happens at the retail level is if it's not super segregated, and if someone is not dedicated to maintaining and taking care of those, you can end up with dry pots. You can end up with some sneaky bastard going over there and going, hell, I need another 3 crimson pygmy barberries, and they only have 5 out here on the floor. Dang it. Hey, Mr. Nurseryman, do you have any more crimson pygmy barberries? No, we're all out. Probably won't get any for another couple weeks. Dang it. And then they're out walking looking for other stuff, and they see your crimson pygmy barberries set aside, maybe with a nice ribbon around it. Maybe with a nice ribbon around it and a sold tag hanging on it. It won't matter. It won't matter. Somebody will go in there and scoop those things up. And suddenly, on May 15th, when you are ready to launch on your plant day, you're going and picking your stuff up. All of a sudden, you're 4 short on your crimson pygmy barberry, or your fence line project, which required 17 privacy screen whatevers, is now down to 12. And you go to Mr. Nurseryman and you go, WTF, you have my money. My project is getting put in the ground tomorrow, and we're 5 short. We're 4 short. We're 3 short. And then Nurseryman goes, I don't know what to say. Somebody must have come in and picked them over. I've seen this, I can't tell you how many times. And mainly, it's just because you have given control to that nursery for your hard-earned plant material. Literally, if you can do it, if you have the space at your project site, as soon as you get notified that the order is in, the order is full, come down and take a look and pick it up. Do it. Get that stuff home. Set it aside somewhere in your yard. Wash all the foliage down really nice. Make sure everything's nice and wet, and keep it that way until planting day. It'll be under your control. And not under some yahoo that wants to come in and fill the last barberry that they need for their order. You see where I'm going with that? Now, secondly is, okay, we could have a little bit of pilfering of your order, but you could also have an availability issue after the first or second wave of plant material coming to the nursery. That wholesale nursery is shipping plants out all over the place, not just to your nursery, but maybe dozens of nurseries. And as that inventory dwindles, that prime stuff that came in February, the seconds that came in early March, the thirds that are now hitting April and May, and the fourth line of inventory is not ready yet. And it's not ready because there's no root development, and probably won't be until August or September. So what's the solutions? like we started, get your order in early, 4 to 6 weeks minimum. Get it on site, you get it to your house, and then you take care of it. Number one, that's my number one suggestion. Number two is always have a plan B when it comes to this. Your nursery, ABC Nursery, that's less than a mile from your house, you always have a plan B over here at El Dorado Nursery or whatever it's called. And maybe even keeping an eye on the box stores and whatever. So if all of a sudden your nurseryman calls up and says, I got the whole order except your 10 blah, blah, blahs. I can't find them. They're not available anymore. And the ones I found are so substandard, I know you would just go, you want me to pay $18 for that gallon can? What? And it's a little twig. And I've seen it. I've seen it where stuff comes in so underdeveloped. You can literally take a 5-gallon can Camellia and pull it out of the can and still see the gallon can that's not even rooted out into the pot yet. And yet the broker, the plant broker that wanted to sell it to me, hey, that's a 5-gallon, that's a $35. BS it is. So the availability shift that goes through the season. Now, come about August, September or so, wholesalers kind of catch up, but retailers won't, except through special orders. They go into a kind of a dance with the devil type of season where they don't want to get stuck and hung out to dry with all kinds of inventory, turning the corner out of the prime season and heading off into fall. And especially if your nursery is in northern areas where things start to change rapidly and the season shuts down, and it shuts down almost with a light switch type of effect, they're not going to go keeping their tables really super stocked because they're going to have to hang on to that. And they may have to hang on to it all the way into the first part of the year when tax inventory and everything, and they've got all this stuff. They will appreciate advance notice, special order, and here's another thing. You're going to be asked to pay up front or pay a percentage of it up front. That nursery is going to go out and buy your $1,500 worth of plants on their dime to start with. And if you don't have some skin in the game, what's to say you don't go find 6 more whatevers that look a heck of a lot better than they did over here at the nursery that just spent money for you, and you're going to take those instead. And all of a sudden they're stuck with 6 whatevers that are kind of fringy as far as popularity. And now what are you going to do? So do expect to pay special order prices. And chances are on special orders, unless they're in perfect pristine condition after your planting and you find that you got a few left over, that's when a good relationship and a first name basis comes in, because maybe you can take a few of them back. A few of them. It all depends. Know that nursery's policy before you go spending big dollars, big dinero on your material, and then you got a little too many and they're going, I'm sorry, coach, I can't take those back. It's a special order. There's not much I can do with them. Now, most people will accommodate, but there are some that will not. So approaching the plant availability angle, just like other facets of your landscape project, having that plant list put together weeks in advance, getting that order in, it's really kind of a mental insurance for yourself, so that the week that you know you're going to be stuffing things in the ground, and I mean that in a figurative sense, okay? You're going to take great painstaking care on digging your holes correctly and amending and fertilizing it. Okay, I just didn't want to say slam them in the ground. The last thing you want to do is have everything done in your DIY project, and it is time for your plants, but you did not get them in advance, and you go down to the nursery and you walk up to salesman A and you go, I have a plant list here for my landscape project. I was wondering if you could help me fill the order. And they go, well, sure, let's take a look. And they take a look at it and they start walking around the nursery with you and check on that one, check on that one. Oh, we only got 5 of those and you want 15. Okay. Oh, okay, no, check, we got those. And they go down there, but there's that 10 to 15% that they don't have. Now you do have a plan B, remember? We already talked about it. So that is not the time. When the bell is striking midnight and you need all your plant material because you got 2 buddies from work and a brother-in-law and everybody coming over to help you dig holes, and now your plant list is missing a few things, and now you're having to scramble. Now you're having to make phone calls. Now you can't find anything and your search area is going out further and further. It's now Wednesday, maybe Thursday. You got most of the plant material at home, but you got these other ones, not yet. And that 11th and a half hour is not the time to have that kind of anguish brought down on you. Some of you, we'll dig the holes, put them in later. Some of you want to do it right and you want to get it all done and in so you can drip irrigate it and you can do all the things that you need to do. Planning ahead really is going to be that great mental insurance policy that you can sleep at night. You're not staring at the ceiling like Coach did on so many nights when I was a contractor, especially if plant material was iffy and the heavens were iffy. Those were the nights where you didn't sleep a lot as a contractor. Okay, lastly, when you go down to check your order that you put in weeks in advance and it's arrived, be scrupulous on the quality of the plant material. Turn those cans over very gently and take it out of the can and see the root development and then gently put it back in. You want to see some root development. You don't want to see it root bound with 90 million miles of roots running around the edge of the pot. You want to see a decent root ball that holds together and that you can't tug on it, you know, it's so frail that it looks like it's just going to pop out of the can. And here you are paying a real premium price for green material in this day and age. When I started, we used to have juniper sales for 99 cents. That same juniper now, not on sale, is at least $9.99 or higher depending on where you live. Some places that are near where I'm at right now, in California, that same tam juniper would probably be about $14.99 for a gallon can juniper. And people often ask me, why is landscaping so expensive, Coach? That's for 1 juniper. So imagine over the course of a large purchase that you're going to make, you don't want those things missing, and you want to have them on site. You know, all of this topic that we're covering here today is covered in even more detail and even lays out a little bit how you can go about developing those relationships with nursery people and other professionals so that you can get a successful result from your DIY project. Head on over to the website, youryardcoach.com, and help old Coach out. Throw down a Jackson and get the ebook. The giveaway is always there. And if you're a newbie, man, that Homescape 1.0 course is fantastic. It is like 3, almost 4 semesters worth of college education, if you don't mind me saying so. And you're going to get a boatload of education right there. Guys, that's what I have for you. Don't forget, summing it up. Order your plants in advance. Make sure you get it to your site as quickly as it arrives at the nursery, and check the quality. Always check the quality. Don't assume that just because it's green that it's developed and ready to go in the ground. I'll catch you guys next week. As always, to your landscape success, thanks for sticking around. If you've got this far in the video, consider subscribing and make sure you give me a like, would you please? Channel's growing, slowly but surely. Catch you next Friday. Take care.